So make these things by finding a design online and then just printing it off, like the outline of it, and adding to it. This one I added a little bit of a shelf here on the bottom, as you can see here. So it's just got, it's a piece of a 2x4 that I had ripped for something else, and I just used it, cut it to length. What I did was I used a 1/4-inch piece of plywood for the bottom, for the base, the backing on this, and I added this one piece here, length, because I knew I wanted to have a shelf, and I wanted to have the shelf that looks like the bricks on the Mario games. And what I did here is I just traced with a carbon paper. Let's grab some. So I have this carbon paper that I use. I just bought it on Amazon, and I put that between the paper and the wood, and then I put the paper on, and then what I do is I just take something sharp that's not going to cut through the paper, and I just trace it around onto my plywood, and then I have some nice lines on the wood. My next project, I'll actually record myself doing that, and that's it. So then I get these letters and cut them all out, and then I sand them up with some nice sandpaper, and then what I do is I would paint them to the color that they're supposed to be, right? And then use a glue and put it all together. So let's see how this looks in a little bit. Okay, so now I've got the everything's sanded lightly, and I figured out the colors for all the letters and the backing and the bricks. So what I've done is I've separated the letters, which letters get colored blue, yellow, red, and green. So I know which ones to color those colors. And then over here, I've got what's going to end up being the brick. Didn't really have a brown paint, so I've got a brandy stain. So I'm going to stain this brown, and then I'm going to use a black marker to do the lines between the bricks, or to make the bricks. And then the backing, I'm just going to use a white paint, just a gloss white Rust-Oleum paint, and that's it. So I'm going to spray paint this white, I'm going to stain this brown, and then I'm going to, these watercolors, I am going to color each letter individually based on what they should be, according to how Super Mario shows up online. So that's the next stage, so I'm going to do that next. Talk to you in a bit. So we're back. I did paint the letters and stain the brick here. Now, one thing I learned is that acrylic paint from dollar store is not the best, but this is just for my son's room, so it's good enough. So I stained all the letters. They're not glued on yet. And the brick wall, all I did was I stained it with a brandy stain, and then I just used a Sharpie pen and just made it look kind of like bricks. So it's just to hold some little figures that he wanted. So now next up is to glue the letters on and attach the brick from the back side. You can tack it with brad nails, but I might just put a couple little screws in it, just because I don't feel like firing up the compressor and everything. So, and then put something on the back to hang it. So there it is, finished up. So what I did in the back was I ended up gluing this to the back piece anyways, and then I just added a couple of screws, and I put this little hook, this picture hanging attachment on the back, and that's it. It's done. So simple little project.